Goeiemorgen, and to my Capitolian friends away. Good morning, guys and girls. As you can see this morning, I'm all alone in front of the camera, so please bear with me. Let me just get the camera settings right there. So, yep. Good morning. This morning I want to chat a bit more about the current happenings in New Zealand. There's not a lot of news coming out of the immigration field. We find that the new residence visas is happening a bit slowly, so I think we've just got to bear with them until they are back on full track for the January after the holiday they had over December. Presumably that will be from, I think, Monday onwards that things will hopefully start happening. I want to add this video to the stream, and this was something that was really great for me. We were fishing out Sunday early morning, early. Out in Tauranga Harbour, and first of all we heard a massive splash, and when we looked to our right we saw a mako shark of roughly about 2 meters just jumping out of the water, and not very long after this happened, and this is the whole part of orcas. 4 2 4 5
Ja, hoe is dit?
Now that was a pod of 5 orcas just cruising by. I don't know if they chased the mako at a certain stage or not. I actually went into YouTube last night and I saw that orcas do eat sharks. It's quite interesting that these orcas basically eat anything. They do hunt the stingrays from time to time down in the harbour, but it could also be that the mako just was on their food list for that morning. So let me see, there's 1 or 2 comments coming. Good morning. And yep, I see Facebook has been alive this morning with the little earthquake 5.8 that we had near Stratford. A few people reported that they felt the shaking down there. So this is quite interesting. Drop me a message if you also felt the shakings, and what was your thoughts at that specific time when that happened. So for people not yet in South Africa, earthquakes is a daily happening in New Zealand. We get something in the region of, is it about 20 or 50 earthquakes every day? But most of them you never will feel. They are just too small. This is a new island and it's growing, and this is the way or the reason why there's so many earthquakes. You sometimes get what they call swarms of earthquakes. I always thought you get a swarm of bees, but in New Zealand you get a swarm of earthquakes. These are tons of little earthquakes that's happening, and most of these swarms nobody ever feels. You can just see them on the Richter scale and at the points set up throughout the country. They do have a app. Let me get this app. I want to let you guys know what this app is. It's called GeoNet, GeoNet, and this will give you, sorry, the camera doesn't do justice to the app. It will give you all the earthquake that has happened for the day. You can go and see the intensity they had. You can see how far people have felt the earthquake. And if you have felt an earthquake, you can go onto GeoNet and just click there, and people can see where you are and that you felt this earthquake as well. So that was quite interesting. Another, can I say feelable? Is that the right word? A feelable earthquake this morning in New Zealand, or Aotearoa as we love to call it down here. And yeah, that's quite interesting. If you felt the earthquake, please drop me just a tick or say I felt it. I'm in wherever you are. So that's interesting. Few things that's going to happen within the next few weeks. We are having I've got a banner nice here. We're having a fishing competition in March, and this will be for boats. So if you've got a boat and you're anywhere in New Zealand and you want to travel all the way to Tauranga, because that's where we're going to do the fishing competition. And sorry, I'm not going to do it for the whole of New Zealand in every harbour, just purely because I've never done it before. So this will be my first fishing competition that I'm doing, and from JV Financial Services, we'll do a bit of a big sponsorship down there. Interesting, since last night, when we've announced the fishing competition, I had quite a lot of people inquiring about sponsorship on that. So very soon, I think we'll have very good prizes to give away during that day. Also spoke to Martin at the council, and he promised us the use of a specific field down very near to the boat ramp, so we can have our evening prize giving down there. We will also try and get some better rates from some of the caravan parks if you guys want to stay over in Tauranga, for those that travel from Auckland, Rotorua, wherever you're coming from. For those guys, we'll try and get a bit of a better rate due to the fact that you're part of the fishing competition. But I cannot promise anything about that. So if you are a sponsor or you wish to sponsor this competition and get your name involved with boat fishing in New Zealand, please feel free to send us your details and we'll get back to you regarding sponsorships and how that's going to work. So that's something coming up in March. A lot of preparation still needed there, and we'll do that very soon. Then to the people going with us on the Waikato trip, or the Waikato Coast 4x4 trip at the last weekend, the long weekend in January. That trip has been fully booked. We've also booked our stands last night, so everything has been paid and we're ready to roll at the end of the week. So something else that came back last week, we had this discussion regarding different or the topic of the honeymoon is over in New Zealand, and we discussed the fact that after a period of time, there's certain emotions in there. And I got to say, we got some very, very good feedback. We got some, I would say, some stories that wasn't that good for people. A lot of people have come back and said thanks for what we were willing to discuss. But then we also got some people coming back and saying, I'm putting my hand up. I'm one of those people who can help people in New Zealand. And we are busy slowly but surely filling up a list with people like psychologists, care workers, these type of people that can step in when something has happened to you and you feel you just need a bit of extra encouragement, just that extra, how can I say, the arm around your shoulder. So if you are one of these people and you want to become involved, but sadly Mariska's not here this morning, so I'm going to actually throw this to her. So I'll throw this to her without her knowing that. So I'm going to put that in my wife's hands to run. We've been giving that names of the people that are willing to help through to Mariska, and very soon we'll have a list. And if you have got a problem, personal problem anywhere in New Zealand, we will hope to have somebody near you that can reach out to you. But sometimes you just need somebody to listen to your story. That's all. That's all. People just need a ear. But sometimes you need more than an ear. And that's where we need specialized people who are in that field, who are willing to give a bit of their free time back to the community. So if you are one of these people who's got a love for other people and are willing to listen, let us know. If you are one of these people who has got a love for other people, I'm going to bring the love for other people back again here because that's quite important, and you want to help and you are allowed to help and you've got the degrees and stuff that you can help people physically or emotionally, like a psychologist. I'm just not going to name all the names of different kind of people down there, but people like this who's got time. And if you've got a big problem that they can listen to, and if you're one of these people, please send us your name. I'll give that to Mariska so that she can contact you. You can just PM me so that that's private message. Let me get that right. Private message me with that so that your name and stuff is not all over the internet. And we'll use it to our discretion as time goes on. Yeah, this morning I haven't really had a specific topic to talk about rather than trying to tell you guys what's currently happening in New Zealand. New Zealand is still on this go slow. To the South Africa, still in South Africa. You guys normally go on leave from about the 15th of December, and then by the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th of January, you're back at work. That doesn't work that way down here in New Zealand. And for two reasons, I do understand why. New Zealand basically cuts off a day or two before Christmas. They basically cut off a day or two before Christmas, and then for most of January up till the 17th at least, they are on holiday. And I'm talking about tradies, these guys that fit stuff somewhere. Most of the other places have got skeleton staff running up and until the 17th. Even the insurance companies, they have gone flat out until about the 23rd, and then most of the staff will be back by the 17th. The one reason for this is, I think it's just a different culture. So that's probably part of the reason why it's taking longer. And then the other thing is, your weather in December ain't that good as in January. So your January weather is much better than December. So it makes quite a lot more sense to be on holiday when the weather is good than to be on holiday when the weather is starting to become better. So interesting enough, I know in South Africa you guys have early summers. December is already hot, and down here in New Zealand, you can have windy December. You can have a bit of rain still December, but and I'm talking North Island, so don't shoot me, South Island people. I know you guys are wild down there. Um, you you get better weather from January, February, March. That is probably the best weather in the North Island, except Wellington. So that is that is just my thoughts on the weather and why the differences is between holiday times between normal South Africa and then New Zealand. I think the culture thing is quite big. What I found out in camping this year, for the first time we actually went camping over Christmas period until very near a day or two before New Year. Christmas Day, there were still large spots of this very um, the campsite down there. It's one of the best campsites you can think of in New Zealand. It's much sought after, and people just want to go there. But even Christmas Day, there were still large patches open. And this changed after Christmas Day. I would say from the 27th, it just became busy. It became crazy busy. The 28th was still busy, and by the 29th, you could see there's no more space in this caravan park. And I think at that stage, there was 2,500 people in the caravan park. Now, this was at Hahe. Hahe is the portal to Cathedral Cove, Hotwater Beach, and so forth. And being such a favorite campsite, it actually makes sense that people would be there earlier down the year, which I struggle to understand. And now, if you look back at earlier down the year, it was more windy and rain and some small weather changes that wasn't that good. So I think the fact that the weather will be much better during January going forward will keep that campsite full. Anybody's at Hawaii, please let me know how it looks now. I would like to see how many people has been left over after this last week. I saw some of the people come back after the last week and take some time off just to be at home. So being at home isn't always the best thing to do in New Zealand because then your wife keeps on thinking stuff out for you to do. So um, I need some help here. If you guys can come around and come and clean up my garden, that'll be wonderful. Now my wife is not the terrorist I make her out to be, but she just expects stuff to do or to happen down here at home. So something else. What is there more to talk about? What's happening in New Zealand these days, or this year so far? What I had a question. When was this? About Wednesday, 2 days ago. And somebody asked me regarding what is my thoughts on when the borders will open, and I could not find that answer really. Myself, I'm looking forward to getting my kids over, getting them here for um, a bit of a visit, and even for getting back to South Africa, going to visit, and then be able to come back. Because as residents, you are allowed to leave the country, but the problem starts happening when you need to get back. It's not easy to get a place in MIQ. That's always a bit of a gamble. So once that lobby opens, I've heard some people say, "Oh, 3 or 4 times," and they were in and they had a room. And then I heard other people say they were there for the whole day and nothing happened, and eventually closed down on them. So yeah, it's probably luck of the draw more than anything else. And myself, being a person that doesn't really believe in luck of the draw, I believe in being able to plan stuff as I go along. And if I can't plan my return from a country, then I really do not want to go down there. So that is what's happening with the MIQ spaces currently. Um, Quite a few controversial stories happening in our neighborhood of Australia as well, with the dinner stars that were unvaxxed and so forth. But that's quite interesting to see. There's not only New Zealand that's got problems like this. Every other country in the world has probably got the same problems. So That's my black coffee for the morning. Yeah, and we down here at JV Financial Services, we back in full swing basically from a week ago. We get a bit hampered with the fact that we're working with insurance companies that has only got a skeleton staff, but I could say stuff has been happening. They've slowly but surely uh, did the stuff that we asked them to do and so forth. But just to get that all done, it's sometimes a bit of a longer wait. So I think next year I will probably take the second week in January off as well, just for more peace of mind for myself. Um, I saw a lot of people that was on holiday, and I love the holiday pictures. I even saw the Christmas tables, and it's quite interesting that we as South Africans have have this. How can I say? I don't want to sound rude now, but have this got this motto of in Christmas Day we need to eat as much as possible. I mean, goodness me, we were six families at our little campsite. And we invited a family that we found along the way that had no other people down there. So we basically were seven families down there. And we put up, I think, two or three tables. And everybody just had to bring a little bit. Now, I decided actually I'm not going to eat this much this year. I'm just going to have a small piece of what everybody brought. By the time I packed my plate with just a small piece. And I promise, it's just a small piece. I had a full plate. I had a massive plate. And yeah, well, sadly enough, we still ate all that food. So yeah, so this is probably diet month again for many people. I'm trying to eat a bit less, but struggling. This starting off in January is not a good thing because everybody's having a braai or a barbecue, and everybody wants to invite you, and just you can't come into a braai and say, "Oh no, I'm not going to eat meat tonight." I mean, I'm a South African. I do eat meat. That's one of those things. Yeah. So I haven't got a lot more to say this morning. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So upcoming for the rest of the year, we will have 4x4 trips going quite a few places once a month at least. We could probably just skip 1 month. We just take the regular ride-on staff of Expedition Aotearoa out to a venue where we just have some fun with them. But we are trying to get around. We are trying to get to areas near you. For this year, it will probably be only North Island. And if you are out there and you know about a few good areas that we can go riding along, please put your hand up. Please let me know. We need to know about these areas. We've done 42 Traverse in December. That was hectic. So the next one coming up, the Waikato Coast trip, won't be that hectic. We have released the first video of 42 Traverse of the caves that we've done down there. That is available on our page as well. The next videos will probably be released. There's another 2 videos coming of that same trip, and that'll probably be released within the next week or so. So just bear with us. We'll try to take some time off to spend with our loved ones. And then our cameraman got his wife pregnant, and so he's got extra duties to deal with. Quite an interesting journey with all the scans and stuff that they need to do now. Yeah, but it's quite interesting times for them as well. Um, on the flip side, we will use some new guys to help us with the upcoming trip, and that will be interesting as well. So, all right, guys and girls, thanks for listening to me this morning. So nothing major happening in New Zealand, no major immigration shocks or changes. And yeah, very much the same old, same old. And from next week onwards, we will all be back on full staff. No more skeleton staff anywhere. And then we'll take life as it comes from then on. Thanks, see you all. Bye bye.